Have you ever wondered about the story of George III, the so-called Mad King? What was the cause of his erratic behavior, and how did it shape the course of history? Born into the royal house of Hanover in June 1738, George William Frederick, or as we know him, King George III, ascended to the throne at a tender age of 22. His early years were shaped by a rigorous education, preparing him for the immense task of ruling the then world's most powerful empire. In 1761, George married Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, a union that would produce 15 children, creating a strong lineage. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing. As his reign progressed, whispers of his madness began to circulate. Bouts of insomnia, manic episodes, and strange physical symptoms hinted at something troubling. Was it merely stress, or something far more sinister? As we delve deeper into the reign of George III, we find a man struggling with personal demons while trying to maintain control of a vast empire. The American Revolution, a significant event during George III's reign, was a turning point in world history. But what role did our Mad King play in this? The American Revolution, which spanned from 1775 to 1783, was a period of intense conflict and transformation, and George III was at the helm of it all. As the King of Britain, he saw the American colonies not just as territories, but as an integral part of his kingdom. Their rebellion was to him a direct affront to his rule, and he was determined to quell it. The revolution was sparked by a series of laws imposed by Britain, including the infamous Stamp Act and Tea Act, which the colonists saw as oppressive and unjust. George III was instrumental in the escalation of this conflict. He staunchly refused to negotiate with the colonists or acknowledge their grievances. This intransigence only fueled the flames of revolution, pushing the colonists toward a complete break from Britain. It's important to note that George's refusal to negotiate wasn't merely a matter of pride or stubbornness. He genuinely believed that conceding to the colonists' demands would lead to the disintegration of the British Empire. He saw himself as the guardian of British interests, and he was prepared to go to great lengths to protect them. But the king's efforts were in vain. The American colonies declared their independence in 1776, and after 7 years of bloody conflict, Britain was forced to acknowledge the birth of a new nation, the United States of America. The loss of the American colonies was a significant blow to George III, both personally and politically. It marked the first major loss of territory under his rule and tarnished his image as a strong and effective leader. But more than that, it was a personal failure. He'd staked his reputation on maintaining control of the colonies, and their loss was a bitter pill to swallow. The loss of the American colonies was a significant blow to George III, both personally and politically, setting the stage for the next phase of his turbulent reign. As George III's reign continued, his personal struggles became more apparent. But what was the true nature of his madness? In the later years of his rule, George's mental health seemed to deteriorate at an alarming rate. He suffered from bouts of mania, delusions, and even physical ailments that left him unable to perform his royal duties. This was a far cry from the vivacious, energetic king who had once held court with such vigor. This period of his life was marked by a significant withdrawal from public life. His erratic behavior and unpredictable moods made it difficult for him to engage with his subjects and fulfill his role as king. The Regency crisis, a political conflict that erupted as a result of George's incapacity, further deepened the turmoil. His son, the Prince of Wales, was appointed as regent, effectively ruling in his father's stead. So, what caused George's condition? Historians and medical experts have long debated this question. A prevailing theory suggests that he suffered from porphyria, a group of rare genetic disorders that affect the nervous system. Symptoms can include mental confusion, hallucinations, and severe abdominal pain, all of which George III was reported to have experienced. This condition would have severely impacted his ability to rule and may explain his so-called madness. Yet, even in the face of such adversity, George III's legacy is not solely defined by his illness. He was a man of immense intellect and curiosity, with a genuine desire to serve his country. His reign saw Britain evolve into a global power and undergo significant cultural and political revolutions. Despite his personal struggles, George III left an indelible mark on British history. his reign a mix of triumph and tragedy. The story of the Mad King serves as a stark reminder of the human element behind the crown,